All right, this is the second week of July, and it is
National Disability Awareness and Minority Mental Health Awareness.
all right. Let's start the show.
Audio Jungle.
All right, good afternoon, everyone, or I guess it's evening now. This is the CSRN podcast. Oh, what's going on with the mic? That's the microphone. Hey, listen, what we're going to do, as we always do, like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube. But while we do that, we're going to play our intro video. That way you can like, share, and comment. This is the CSRN podcast, our weekend review. We'll be right back.
I must confess that that dream that I had that day has at many points turned into a nightmare. Now, the other thing that we've got to come to see now that many of us didn't see too well during the last 10 years, that is that racism
Not guilty.
is still alive in American society and much more widespread.
Broke his neck after Baltimore police.
A handful of protesters, a handful of criminals and thugs who...
Many in moments of anger, many in moments of deep bitterness, engage in riots. And as long as America postpones justice, we stand in the position of having these recurrences of violence and riots over and over again. Social justice and progress are the absolute guarantors of riot prevention.
Mr. Gray's death was a homicide.
The Negro was freed from the bondage of physical slavery.
The athletes marched onto a stage.
But at the same time, the nation refused to give him land to make that freedom meaningful. Freedom without land to cultivate. Freedom and famine at the same time.
And create jobs for our people.
Negro is to be free. He must move down into the inner resources of his own soul and sign with a pen and ink of self-assertive manhood his own emancipation proclamation. But I want to get the language right tonight. I want to get the language so right that everybody here will cry out, yes, I'm black, I'm proud of it, I'm black and beautiful. Individually, we are poor when you compare us with white society in America. We are poor. Collectively, we are richer than all the nations in the world with the exception of 9. That's power right there if we know how to prove it. We begin the process of building a greater economic base. And at the same time, we are putting pressure where it really hurts. We don't have to argue with anybody. We just need to go around to these stores and to these massive industries in our country. Say, God sent us by here to say to you that you're not treating his children right. We come by here to ask you to make the first item on your agenda fair treatment where God's children are concerned. Now, if you're not prepared to do that, we do have an agenda that we must follow. And our agenda calls for withdrawing economic support from you. We mean business now, and we are determined to gain our rightful place in God's world.
As our weekend review, where we come to you live from Mont Branch Library and we talk about the things that we've done last week. I know we had the African American Festival and a few other things going on, some of the things that we're working on right now, and a few things that we've got planned in the future. Let's get into some introductions. I'm Brother Washington Muhammad, one of the co-founders of CSRN, along with Mike Leonardi and Jabril Bey, and also an active and registered member of the Nation of Islam here in Toledo. And I feel like we've got some smoke in here. We still got some still some smoke going around. And as always, I'm dedicated to respecting, protecting, and defending all Black bodies, no matter the cost, no matter the gains or loss. So what am I wearing today? So, and that's for those who maybe, Jody, just listening in, that you can also kind of get a description of who's talking. I've got on a kind of an orange and striped shirt today, brown hat. I've got my glasses from Optical Twix between. I've got my beads, my Galaxy watch that stays on the same time all the time. I don't know. And also, we're doing this for the activist community and protest culture. Oftentimes when a person wants to, or a group wants to advocate for themselves and others, we have to send it up the chain and see what the headquarters says. And then by the time they get back to us, whatever's going on local, it's done and it's over with. So we created a space that we don't have to ask permission to do good. We come together, organize on what's most important now. It could be something that we put together, or it could be something like, and let me just say this now. It could be something like the 4th annual Communities Against Violence, and that's happening on August 22nd. So it's not just CSRN initiatives that we want to back and promote. Other people are doing some things that's great. So that's my intro, and big shout out to Mike Leonardi and Jabril Bey. It was their idea to come up with the term community solidarity, and they had a couple of events, a couple of things planned, and then they asked me later on to help plan some protest or some protest awareness activities, as I call it, because we're really not begging somebody to treat us right. It's really like just awareness, all right? Just some awareness so people know what's happening so that they can activate themselves. All right. That was kind of a long intro. So could you introduce yourself, what you're wearing, and then we'll get into our mission statement, guiding principles, and come back with some things that are going on in the community that I think you should know about.
What's up, everybody? Jody J. Summers, child of the system, better known as Spoken Truth. And I'd like to say good morning, good evening, good afternoon, and good night. So that way I cover all my bases. You could be watching from anywhere in the world at any point in time, and that is the beauty of going live and streaming and talking to people in real time without AI or clip farming or anything like that. We thank you for joining us. Again, as he said, we describe ourselves because we want you to know that the person on the voice, which we're only voice on Spotify, is an actual real person. So I am a big brown bear of a man that is covered in tattoos and crystals and stones and bones and artifacts from doing this for the past decade plus, traveling, being an artist, being a poet, being an illustrator, being a city official, running nonprofits, creating food, creating recipes. I still do have a sauce company called Toledo's Mud Sauce and everything like that, which I'm actually perfecting that due to my new job and stuff like that. So hopefully sometime next year I'll be releasing it, since it's going to be
All right.
from scratch versus a combination of things, which I've learned through patents and investments and stuff like that, is far better when you could do something from scratch and adding things into it. But other than that, happy Tuesday to everybody. Hopefully you survived the Canada fires and everything like that. Not just jokingly, but literally. How everybody was screaming, my lungs,
That's
my
right.
lungs. The planet was losing its lungs. You got to think about all those trees that are now gone, that take lifetimes and generations to grow, are not going to be producing for us no more. So on the aspect of all that good stuff and everything like that, I hope your day is going well.
Yeah.
We thank you again for tuning in, because, you know, there are many, 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 many podcasts out there and shows and stuff, but you chose to watch us, and we really appreciate you for that. Not only just watching here, but when you see us in public, like Brother Washington on his bike during the parades, and me with my giant staff.
That's
and
right.
Hugging people. It's more than just a social media post, because running an organization, running anything for this long is difficult. Me and him have been through lifetimes. It's just the past decade of meeting people and trying to encourage our community to give back and do back, versus always have their hand out or always saying it's somebody else's fault. We take accountability in all of our actions, whether you see the two of us or the thousands of people that support us from that. So, and thank you. And how do you get to this point? How do you, survive through the minutia of being an adult? And every day you wake up, you just wish you were a kid again with somebody to tell you what to do. Well, you have a mission statement.
And the guiding principles, and not only tell you what to do, but to pay for it.
That part too.
Oh, man.
Everything's just more expensive and stuff like that. Also, I'm wearing my brand hat, the button shirt, and a purple shirt from CatFest this year, 11 years strong, 2026. Shout out to D Brown for doing something, which again, a lot more people now as we are getting older, start foundations and organizations for the traumas they could not deal with when they were young. And being in that circle and influence of everything is an interesting space. You meet people you wouldn't meet anywhere else in the world. But hopefully, if you're on your journey, whether you're healing, recovering, or even going through some traumatic stuff, you find somebody somewhere, an organization to help you along the journey. So this is us. We are the Community Solidarity Response Network of Toledo, formed on November 25th, 2014, the day after it was announced that the killer, a Ferguson, Missouri police officer, of Michael Brown, an unarmed teenager, would not be indicted. We bring awareness to the injustices experienced by Black men, women, and children who are disproportionately murdered, attacked, provoked, and harassed by law enforcement. Police brutality has to end. We bring awareness to the fact that most often, yes, most often, police brutality goes without consequence and accountability. Police impunity has to end. We utilize the tactics of protest, civil disobedience, event disruption, and citizen advocacy to give voice to those who are otherwise voiceless. We facilitate progressive, community-based events that help foster self-development, and we discuss measures to hold local leadership, accountable to their sworn duties, be they politician, clergy, law enforcement, educators, etc., etc. We want justice, equal justice under the law. We want justice applied equally to all, yes, all, regardless of class, creed, or color. For all lives to matter, Black lives, yes, Black lives must matter. Injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King, Jr.
All right. I thought you were going to do the Black Lives 3 times, but all right.
No, it's too. It's an old excerpt from like old 70s and stuff, radio hosts that would get on and they would emphasize that stuff. If you look at that era, it's like me invoking the spirit of them.
And you know, we talked about uh, inspiring others to do something good for their community. So before I get into the guiding principles, I wanted to talk about Bethesda Christian Center Church. They have this organization called the Women of Excellence, and they're planning their first August back to school backpack giveaway is going to be on August 8th. And if you forget what I'm saying, just run the video back.
Yep.
That's going to be at 5967 Telegraph Road at the Pavilion Plaza. So check that out. We got 50 packages will be given out. So try to get there first. Before we go any further, we also want to express that we have our mission statement in the guiding principles, and that's the thing that holds all of this together. And these are the CSRN guiding principles. All Black Lives Matter, queer Black lives, trans Black lives, formerly and presently incarcerated Black lives, poor working class Black lives, wealthy Black lives, differently able Black lives, Black men and women lives, immigrant Black lives, Black elderly and children lives. All Black Lives Matter and are the creators of this space. We throw no one under the bus. We rise together. Ashe.
Ashe.
And Ashe means one who changes a thing or one who makes a thing happen. Thriving instead of surviving. Our vision is based on the world we want, not the one we're currently in. We seek to transform, not simply react. We want our people to thrive, not just exist. Think beyond the possible. Ashe.
Ashe.
Experimentation and innovation must be built into our work. Embrace the best tools, practices, and tactics, and leave those behind that no longer serve us. Ashe.
Ashe.
Evaluation and assessment must be built into our culture. Critical reflection must be a part of all of our work. We learn from our mistakes and our victories. Ashe.
Ashe.
Principal struggle can exist in a positive environment. We must be honest with one another by embracing direct, loving communication. Ashe.
Ashe.
Love, self-love is practiced in every element of all we do. Love and self-love must be a driver of our work and an indicator of our success. Without this principle and without healing, we will harm each other and undermine our movement. Ashe.
Ashe.
360-degree vision. We honor past struggles and wisdom from elders. The work we do today builds the foundations of movements of tomorrow. We consider our mark on future generations. Ashe.
Ashe.
Self-care means we build resilient spaces by budgeting time, energy, and resources for healing. Self-care is a regular, consistent, intentional, and essential practice. Ashe.
Ashe.
The most directly affected people are experts at their own lives and should be at the center of leadership and telling their stories directly. Ashe.
Ashe.
Training and leadership development should be fundamental. Our movement must constantly grow and leadership must constantly multiply. Ashe.
Ashe.
And before we go take a short break, I wanted to mention another organization that's doing something positive, and this is the Toledo softball. They're having the Rockapalooza. That's going to be on August 5th from 9 o'clock to 3 p.m. This is going to be at the Toledo Rocket baseball camp. Doesn't even have an address on here.
Reading in between the AI.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, all right. Well, we keep having this discussion on AI.
Yep.
That when you organize something with AI, will it leave something out? Well, it left out the address. All right. We wanted to promote something positive, and we'll find out at rocketsoftballcamps.com. So I guess if you went there, you'll find the fundamental training. I guess there's going to be lunch included and some water activities. And what we're going to do right now is take a short break. And when we come back, we're going to share some articles from the Final Call newspaper, this week's edition of the Final Call newspaper. Also some things that's happening at Scott and Brothers United. This is the CSRN podcast, our weekend review. We'll be right back.
en esta hermosísima ciudad de Orlando.
I'm here in Barranquilla, Colombia, and in sunny Miami. Daytona Beach, mis amigos, that's where we're at today.
Desde la ciudad de Cartagena, Colombia.
We are in Orlando right now, here in Florida.
I'm Helene Sheets, Director of Marketing and Communications at beautiful Lourdes University, and we've been a proud sponsor and supporter of Voces Latinas TV for over a decade. It has been a fantastic partnership. It's been our doorway into the Latino community. We've met so many incredible people, created so many partnerships. Our students absolutely love the connections we've made through Voces Latinas TV, and we're looking forward to at least another decade, 2 decades.
All right, we're back. This is the CSRN podcast, a week in review. If I didn't shout out my branch library for Kevin, a branch manager, and everybody else that lays out the red, black, and green carpet, I mentioned some flyers that are left here on the front desk, and that was for the softball program, the Sisters United Against Violence. And there's a couple others that I wanted to share. And as Jody said earlier, July is Minority Mental Health Awareness Month. And if you didn't know why minority mental health is important, well, it's critically important because racial and ethnic minorities face unique stresses such as systematic discrimination and historical trauma. Yet they encounter severe barriers to care. Prioritizing this issue helps address disproportionately high rates of persistent mental illness, combats cultural stigmas, and bridges the gap in misdiagnosis and treatments. It doesn't look like my whole voice thing is working today, but it's really important that we pay attention to not only our physical health, but also our mental health. And in saying that, I want to highlight something that's happening on the 15th of August. This is the Black Men's Wellness Day. Get checked out, not checked in. There's a 5K run and walk. I don't know which one I'm going to do. It's the walk. No, I don't know which one I'm going to do. But I'm going to ask everyone to show up at Scott High School 7 a.m. on that day. I think for the last couple of years, we've had a CSRN table there.
That we have.
And I like to have a CSRN table there to share some of the things that we're doing in the community. And also as Black men to support wellness. And I think that's one of the things that kind of gets swept under the rug. We rather talk about sports and what's happening in celebrity news than our own health. And lastly, before we get into a couple of issues, a couple of stories from this week's edition of the Final Call newspaper, I wanted to highlight Brothers United. I found the flyer here, and I'm just reading this. It says, Pathway Incorporated Brothers United program is a new fatherhood program to Lucas County. The program is funded through the Ohio Commission on Fatherhood. Brothers United is also funded through the Lucas County Job and Family Services. And here's how you know if you're eligible. It says, any Lucas County father, biological, custodial, adoptive, foster, legal, step, grandfather, or male family member. Children must be 18 years or younger. Young men 12 to 17 years of age who are not fathers. So call Pathways or look them up online. And Forces Brothers, Get involved with the life of your child or your stepchild or your granddad. All right. From this week's edition of the Final Call newspaper, let me bring up the headline. This week is U.S. reignites war. America resumes hostilities with Iran as the region continues to be engulfed by conflict and bloodshed. Now, of course, I wasn't young enough. I wasn't old enough to be drafted for, I think they drafted people for Vietnam and the Korea War. And, and what's happening today does not look like it's just going to go away in thin air. It looks like there's going to be more to say about this. So there's an article in next week's edition of the Final Call labeled that. Let's find the article. And we'll put it up there. It's called The Iran War, a game of agree to disagree. And this is from James Muhammad. He's a contributing editor of the Final Call. And this is at Final Call Press Time. It says, one thing is certain about the recent memorandum of understanding agreement designed to start negotiations on how to end the U.S.-Israel-inspired war on Iran. There is no agreement. And I think that you can see that if for those of us that go to the gas pumps where gas was before all of this was like $2.50, maybe $2.60. Now it's near $4 a gallon in some places, even more. Not only that, because when the gas goes up, when fuel goes up, everything else goes up. It goes on to say conflicting messages continue to be fired across the bow as the war enters its fourth month. Previous declared ceasefires never stopped missiles from being fired. The 14 points or understandings outlined in the Memorandum of Understanding are interpreted differently depending on who's talking. And this is the last part, but make sure you go get your the latest edition of the Final Call newspaper and check this out. It says, shortly after signing the MOU, President Donald Trump declared the Strait of Hormuz open to ship traffic, and there will be no tolls for passage now or in the future. Iranian authorities announced ships seeking to pass must get their approval and a permanent decision about the straits. As stated in the MOU, will be decided by Iran and Oman, the two countries that border the waterway. So it looks like they'll have an agreement, and after they agree on it, one of them says, well, it's this way, and the other says, no, that's not what we agreed on. So it looks like we're in for maybe another 2 months of this. We'll see later on. And lastly, there's a story regarding unity that I wanted to highlight. And this is from this week's Final Call newspaper, and it kind of sounds like what we do as CSRN. The headline is, we must not allow our differences to lead to disunity and apathy. And this story says that in a pair of 6-3 decisions by the U.S. Supreme Court, written by Justice Samuel Alito, the court recently ruled that the Trump administration could end temporary protective status for Haitians and Syrians. It also upheld the metering policy, allowing immigration officials to turn away asylum seekers waiting in Mexico. It goes on to say, the ruling means that the Department of Homeland Security could end TPS approximately for 350,000 Haitian immigrants, many of whom been in the U.S. for decades and have made a living raised by families here. Based on that, the number of people could be impacted, could be higher. So as you read this and as you read the news, we're not going to allow the apathy of what's happening now in our communities make us turn a blind eye to Black people who have come from different countries. Apathy means a state of indifference characterized by a lack of emotion, motivation, or concern. Often we're so consumed with our own day-to-day lives, which is important, but we cannot fall into indifference where we respond. Not them, like that thing where it says that's them, not me. So for this week, make sure you get this week's edition of the Final Call newspaper, highlighted the U.S. reignites war, and we're going to leave at least 15 copies here at the Mott Branch Library. So shout out once again to the Mott Branch Library for allowing us not only to have our podcast here and also to partner with us so that we can be able to do this. So what we're going to do right now, take a short break. We're going to come back with Jody Summers and the community updates and solutions.
Which I want to say he kind of already did a lot of it, but that's okay.
Yeah, well, I did your light work.
You loosened the jar for me.
Okay, all right. Hey, that's cool. All right. Hey, this is the CSRN podcast, a week in review. We'll be right back. All right, we are back. This is the CSRN podcast. I got to reach over here and grab within some of the notices that we have here. Yeah, we mentioned the fourth annual Communities Against Violence, the backpack giveaway, and that's by the Bethesda Christian Center Church. Women of Excellence, they're sponsoring it. And also it says on here, they join us each Sunday, 11 a.m. For worship. And what I didn't do, I didn't put up after reading the Final Call. If you're interested in learning more about the Final Call or learning more about what the Nation of Islam is doing in Toledo, we meet Sunday, 11 a.m. You do not have to dress up, all right, because there's no music, so you don't have to dress up to attend. Just a really good conversation regarding what's happening in our communities and some of the ways we can make it a safe and decent place to live. I can't think where. One of the things I wanted to mention before we segue to Jody, Scott High School has a barber, the Toledo Barber Academy. It's free haircuts for kids and adults all school year from 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. Entrance door 17. That's right across from the football field, right when you pull up into Scott off of that Mason. No, well, right off of Collingwood. It's the last door on the right. Pull up there. I can't get a haircut. I don't have any hair. All right, I'm gonna say I want to go next week. But yeah, I advocate for that, and I know some people that I've helped by just going there and get yourself a really nice haircut. I think that John Hobbs is one of the administrators there. Great job that he's doing. So Scott High School, Toledo Barber Academy, free haircuts all school year, 8:30 to 3:30 p.m. and all summer from 7:30 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. Get your haircut. All right.
Yeah.
Hey, Jody, I wanted to get into some of the community updates and solutions, and what are some of the things that you've been involved in or you think others need to know?
Well, some of the things, of course, we had the African American Festival, but I'm going to go back to the things that have happened since the last time you saw us last Tuesday. And going back to that, we had Tuesday, July 14th, there was the TLR, Toledo Listening Room, the original one. That one had its 1 year open mic anniversary at Handmade Toledo. That's downtown Toledo. If you've never been there, right on Adams Street. And they do that every other Tuesday. So next Tuesday, they'll be having a Toledo listening room, and then that one will be at Black Kite because they alternate between the shows. So I got to make it. I think, one time this year or last year, because you got sick, I was able to go and grace their mic. But that was going on. There was the James Hamilton Showcase of Extraordinary Word Artist, an event that I got kind of grouped into. And this was in Warrington. It was 753 East Warrington Avenue in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Shout out to the people that threw me in the group, and I was like, hey, what is it? It's like, oh, yeah, this is only for the Pennsylvania people, but somebody somewhere knew me or heard my voice as I was Ubering over here, and the guy in the front seat, he was like, I recognize your voice. I'm like, oh, yeah, I have done a lot. There is a lot of my voices and sound clips and poems and community speakings everywhere, so you might have heard my voice. Very interesting, because growing up, until I started doing poetry and artwork, I hated my voice because everybody called me James Earl Jones. So it may not look good now because I ain't grown into it, but imagine like a 10-year-old coming up talking like, is that like that little skit with Forrest Whitaker?
Yeah.
So that was me my whole life. And it's like, well, I finally grew into it, but getting back on track, squirrel and all that good stuff. So also Saturday, July 18th, there was the Pop-Up Loves TLC Inc. This was an online thing hosted by Vanessa, friend of mine, author, stuff like that. She had a thing online. So if you were able to make it, that was also during the African American Festival parade and everything, which I was able to make and saw everybody out there. Brother Washington on his bike.
That's
I didn't get a pic this year at this one, but I got you the last couple of parades.
That's right.
So shout out to everybody that was able to make it out. The weather, thankfully, Friday rained out the Canada that had been crossing. Again, if you had respiratory problems or anything like that, this is not joking in any way, because I was born with respiratory problems and all that stuff, but happy that you're still here. Hopefully it didn't cause any extra doctor bills and stuff like that. My prayers and thoughts are to the people in Canada that actually have lost a lot due to the fires, but everything like that. And then there was the African American concert, which unfortunately I missed, but it looked like a very good turnout. This was my first time missing it in some years, life and adult stuff, but it's okay because, you know, I saw a lot of people, a lot of friends that got to go and meet Kiki Wyatt and what was the guy, Eric Benet and all the other artists that were there. I'm just happy to say I've actually been on that stage and doing that stuff. So if you're able to go, shout out to you. And lastly, on my list of things that I saw that were going on, of course, if I missed anything, you're more than welcome to tag me or the page. I can't say Brother Washington because, you know, I can't control the stuff that he may want to allow on his page. But for me, use me as a resource. I'm going to give a shout out upcoming too for a person that asked me to be on the show, but unfortunately I need 3 to 4 weeks notice, but I'm still going to promote her poetry show because, you know, that's what artists do. So finally, Monday, yesterday, which I'm so sad I missed their last mixer and stuff like that, but life be lifing. There was the Film Toledo grand opening and open house. That was at 500 Madison Avenue, Toledo, Ohio. Hopefully, when they do the next mixer, we'll have a building to do it in. Although, you know, going to different restaurants and supporting them has been fun, but I look forward to actually going into the building and seeing what's going on. If you are interested in film and acting in Toledo, they are a great resource. They're the ones that increased our budget so big budget films could come here and all of that stuff. So great group of guys over there. If you're interested in stuff, I implore you to check out their website. They have acting classes along with Toledo's Talent and other stuff. My first Disney movie role came through them. My other first independent feature role came through them. So great group of people, Film Toledo. Shout out to y'all. And that is all I see on my list of past events since the last time we were here because, I talked about the Sunday event. So upcoming things, besides all the stuff that Brother Washington listed. Here's some upcoming things that's through my schedule of stuff that people might have invited me to. Tomorrow at 8:45 a.m., there is the CCNO board in Defiance, Ohio. They have a Stop Profiting Off of Human Cages events. That is at 8:45 a.m. at 22419 Mill Street, Defiance Road, or Defiance, Ohio. So if you can make it, they have a Social and Immigration Justice League of Ohio is the one that's sponsoring it and hosting it and everything like that. So that is one event that's going on. This Saturday at 10 a.m. is the North Toledo Community Meet and Greet. This is also by Love's TLC, and that is going on Saturday, July 25th.
Okay, Vanessa.
Yep.
All right, Vanessa. All right,
Avery, I believe it is. So she's got that going on. Those are some of the pending invites and my upcoming invites going on for me personally. Trying to see some other stuff tonight is the Soul Sessions going on at Toll House, which I will be leaving here as and going to perform because tomorrow I have a show featuring Poppy Woodward online. There's some stuff on my page about it. You can click and check out the live YouTube going on. And let me just go down for the stuff going on. I know I shared it. Yes. Unplugged Soul Sessions is going on today, starting at 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. We have DJ Lou and hosted by Jawan Thomas. I believe that's Joe Jawan Thomas. And of course, Band 83 is going to be there. It should be a good time. I went the last one they had for the first time, and I'll be coming back because there is no Poetry and Soul tomorrow, but we will be back. Shout out to Kay Renee, and hopefully you voted for her for Poet Laureate. Trying to clear my brain of all the things like that. Coming up also this weekend is, that I was just tagged in it, she asked me to be in it, is a Sip and Paint private event and date night, July 24th from 5 p.m. to 10 p.m. There's a $1 raffle. This is going to be at the Yeager Center at 4349 Airport Highway, Toledo, Ohio. Shout out to China Star, who asked me to be a part of it, and hopefully we'll link up and I can take some days off and I'll be able to come for the next one. It is a BYOB event. Tickets are $15. And let me check and see if there is some other stuff that's not AI. No, I'm just going to leave AI alone. I'll get it tonight. But see some other stuff that might be going on before then that you may be able to be at. So July 22nd, right after we come back, there is the Whole Division event going on at Mind and Soul Gallery Studio. That is also 500 Madison Avenue. Listening about the film Toledo. So they're in the same building, but that is going on. It started July 8th. It ends July 29th. So this is a Wednesday event. You can get tickets at mindandsoulgallery.com. Hopefully you'll be able to be there and see the gallery and everything like that. And that is really all I have. I'm kind of shocked, but it is middle of summer, stuff like that, and everybody is going on with the flyers and stuff. So if you have anything, again, let me know. Community-based stuff is what we do promote on this show. We'll do a slight, my job, not so community-based, but Nate Hicks is performing this Thursday at my place of work, Cliche, and that is going to be a Thursday, which is also special for Wings Night and all that stuff. I'll be in the kitchen, but I implore you to come out and be on the patio from 8 to 9 at Club Cliche. And let me give you the address for that real quick, just in case you may not know where it is. It's across from the Ohio State Liquor Store. It used to be Lighthouse, and that is 2124 Alexis. I believe that is. Yes. 2124 Alexis. All right. So hope to see you out this Thursday coming up, 2114. That's what it is. 2114 Alexis Road. Nate Hicks is going to be performing a set from 8 to 9 p.m. along with the $1 wings, $2 tacos, $2 egg rolls, $3 fries, and all that good stuff.
Okay, and that's right there. Cliches right there on Alexis.
Yep. If you like cherry blossoms and the largest patio in the city and a cigar room attached, you can even get bottled service or rent us out for things like that. You're more than welcome to come. Got Sunday, fun day. We having a game night this Sunday, and that's all the club type of stuff I'm promoting.
All right. Okay. I was gonna say, man, I may fall through. I don't know I don't even know what that looked like for me.
But I'll promote it next week too. Place that Brother Washington can fall through on the 7th for First Friday. SOS Club is going to be a sober bar. So, and that'll be my last in-person feature that I know of because I'm performing this Saturday. Shout out to author Lena Banks. She invited me to an event, so I'll be featuring there, but it's different type of feature. So my last feature is going to be the 7th of August at the SOS Club. Shout out to Vincent and the other people that will be performing with me. You'll see more flyers and stuff before then.
All right, before we go, big shout out to the Flame Candles. We had our sister here not too long ago.
I need some more cologne as well.
To talk about her journey from out the trunk to an actual brick and mortar. Shout out to House of Chaos. They're located right there at LaGrange near Central, doing a lot in our community. Big shout out to Junction Family Pharmacy. I think I'm going to lose my 10% discount for that. I'll go see my brother, Anthony Patton, right there, Dr. Patton. Shout out to Christian Moncrief and Optigo, of course, CSRN for being here in this way. And lastly, Ohio Unity Coalition. I saw Anita Madison out for the parade.
Yep.
And big shout out to this group that does nonpartisan work in our community. So they're not drinking all the Kool-Aid. They're just like me. I dibble and dabble.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to drink the whole pitcher in order to educate the voters on what's happening, and they don't necessarily have to run that party line. And lastly, big shout out to Eden Community Garden. We had our opening a couple of months ago, and we continue to meet every Sunday at 4 p.m., 4 to 6, on to Sister Yvette tells us that we can go. We're right in the middle of Boston Place, a 300 block of Boston Place. And this has to be one of our best
seasons yet. We planted a peach tree and everything.
We've got a peach tree and we planted a pear tree.
Yes.
We planted the peach tree, the pear tree. So far, we've harvested, of course, tomatoes. We've got the potatoes coming. We've got corn. We've got squash. Garlic. We've got garlic, peppers, lettuce, broccoli, cabbage, onions. There's a few other things, but if you would just join us every Sunday, 4 p.m. Prepare to get dirty. All right, so don't come looking cute. It's on a Sunday, so don't come with your church stuff on or your mosque stuff on to supervise. Nope, you're going to pick up that shovel, you're going to put some gloves on, and we're going to get to work. So before we get into 5 minutes of heat, I just wanted to let everybody know that if you like what we do, you want to support us, you can support us via Cash App. That's the hashtag CSRN Toledo 419, or you can support us via PayPal, CSRN 419, and follow us on Instagram, Facebook. Listen to us on Spotify, like, subscribe, and hit the notification for our YouTube. Now, at this point, also, I planted 4 of our Black Lives Matter signs out on the corner of Oakwood, on the corner of Smead and Dorr. That's kind of the Black Lives Matter starting point for the parade. we'll leave some signs there. I don't know if they're going to last the whole week. Really doesn't matter. But we do have some in stock, $20 in boxes for the signs. Also, we have a few of the defund the police signs too. So if you feel that you need both, hey, give us a call and we'll make sure that we get those to you. And lastly, shout out to the American Muslims for Palestine. They continue to organize in our community in an awesome, awesome type of way. So, yeah, that's what we want to promote this week. Some of the things that we're doing in our communities, some of the things that you'll find here at the Mott Branch Library when you walk in, not only the flyers, but also we got a few issues of the Final Call newspaper here too. So at this point, before we close out, we always close out with creative expression, and we have this thing called 5 minutes of heat. Let's see if I can find it on here. Oh, that was pretty easy to find. And we took this term from a song called 5 Minutes of Funk by Houdini. And as CSRN does, we take everything that's with Black culture and we remix it and switch it. And we've got 5 minutes of heat. And we use creative expression kind of to set the tone at the end of our meeting, because we want to come back with the same energy. So, Jody, what do you have for us today?
Well, before that, I actually did find one more thing that's going on. This Sunday at 10 a.m. is the 2026 Art on the Mall event, and that is going to be at the University of Toledo, 2801 West Bancroft, Toledo, Ohio. So for all the artists and everything out there, you're able to go and support another artist, make sure you do. Real art matters. AI is trash.
Okay. All right. Okay. All right.
But either way, yeah. So within the theme of Minority Mental Health Awareness Month, because, there's two of them. I was saying it last week to him, like, hey, it's another one. So last month, June, was Minority Health Awareness. So encompassing all. This is minority mental health. Sounds similar, but two different things. It's like your physical and spiritual being and all that good stuff, or being religious and spirit. You got to take care of both to have unity. So this piece is called Yes, I Have Trust Issues. I wrote it a long time ago. It's in my first book, but it's in relationship to growing up, becoming an adult, finding the processes of in between, but not blaming any individual or yourself for how your life turns out. So without further ado, let's begin. Peace. Yes, I have trust issues somewhere in the middle. If you're hearing this or reading this, you already know why we came here. Yes, I have trust issues, but I learned them somewhere along the middle. If you take offense to this and somehow think that I am attacking you, you might want to look in the mirror, because we all believe the lie about something, something or someone at some point in time. And I'm just using mine to get what's off my mind. See, I have trust issues because every time I think that something's going right, there's always this little reminder in the back of my mind that this could go completely wrong. And somehow I wasted my time on someone or something that I thought was precious. But in the end, it was really just another lesson of just not getting it right this time. See, I have trust issues because every time I try and give someone this vast ocean of experience that I've learned through trial and error, they were really just looking for a bottle of water, maybe to dip their toe in and see if there really was depth here. See, I have trust issues because the sky is not actually blue. And growing up my entire childhood, I was told there was 9 planets. Yes, 9 planets. But by the time I hit adulthood, there was only 8 to view. I have trust issues because every single fairy tale, folklore, bedtime story never came true, except for the trauma part. losing a parent or two, stress, trials, tribulations, and finally, yes, finally figuring out that the problem might not have been you. I have trust issues because I grew up listening about racism, prejudice, crooked politicians, and found out, most of those people, most of those people are just like me and you, who never got a chance to meet the opposition. So they just live on the fairy tale of this is what that statistical person, yes, this is what that statistical person looks like from outside view. I have trust issues because somewhere in the process of growing up and finding my purpose, I found out, most trust issues, most trust issues start with you. Trusting too many things that someone or something is wrong because they don't think like you, when really the first person you're supposed to be able to trust is you. I have trust issues because I know that somewhere in the middle of me reciting this or you reading this, you might have blanked out for a moment or two. And that part, that part that I stuck in the middle that was really important got glazed over because this might have been too long for you. Yes, I have trust issues. In peace.
And as always, we snap our fingers. That's a nice piece. All right.
Yeah. It's one of my legacies that I leave behind. I should have did it for this one slam, but I did a piece for my friend, and that probably cost me the competition. But that is art. If you don't get it out, it'll sit with you and rot with you and make your life feel miserable.
Right. But it's awesome that we have the creative expression that I think a lot of people tune in to get something out of that. And that sets us apart from nearly anybody else, because I've never seen anybody else do 5 minutes of heat, because I don't even think they got that. All right.
Yeah, it's a little different now, the poetry scene and stuff. And also, I won't leave it in the links and stuff, but you can go to my page. I'm again the 6-time nominated best storyteller and male artist in the country. I would appreciate it if you voted in the National Spoken Word Awards held in Chicago by DeAndre Black Ice Hawthorne. And hopefully I'll be taking the trophy home this year if enough of you vote.
All right. And as always, all lives can't matter until Black lives matter. And Black lives can't matter until all Black lives matter. Justice or else?
Hey.